Hi everybody, I'm East Coast Pete. This is my show. Who named that band? You think it's Green Day? It's not. It's the Pixies. And I'm supposed to get this band. I'm supposed to see something, read about something that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people like this band a lot. I'm going to stay neutral until the end of my show, and then we'll see, okay? Pixies, an American alt-rock band formed in Boston in 1986. Originals were Black Francis on vocals and guitar, Joe Santiago on guitar, Kim Deal on bass, and Dave Lovering on drums. The band disbanded in '93 and reformed in 2004. I'm pretty sure that we're looking at the reformed band here, because Deal left in 2013. The Pixies hired Kim Shattuck as a touring bassist. She was replaced by Paz Lenchenton. That's it. Let's go home. It is said that the Pixies are an alt blend of punk and surf rock. Kind of like loud, quiet, loud structure of their songs, but they are not grunge. The East Coast was never very grungy. And is there surfing on Cape Cod? The waves are kind of pixie-sized. Yeah, I've been up there. I've seen them. Except maybe during a perfect storm, then they're quite a bit more non-pixie. Francis writes the lyrics. His subjects cover a wide, eccentric subject matter such as aliens, incest, and biblical violence. They were mildly successful in the U.S. and more so in Europe. The Pixies claim influences Nirvana, Radiohead, Smashing Pumpkins, and Weezer. While the band was in hiatus, the recordings became infamous as the culture caught up with their recalcitrant emotional outbursts. In 2004, they achieved sold-out world tours. The time was right. Santiago and Francis, born Charles Michael Kitteridge Thompson IV, they met at Amherst and they composed songs and jammed throughout 1984. Then they formed a band. From an ad seeking a bassist who liked Peter, Paul and Mary and Husker Du, Kim Deal responded. She had never touched a bass. Perfect. David Lovering was recruited as drummer. I believe that he had touched a drum or two. The name was chosen at random from a dictionary. That explains it. A pixie is a supernatural being in folklore and children's stories, small, anthropoidal, with pointed ears and a pointed hat. The term pixie has come to mean a cute, petite woman with short hair. The band began to play shows at bars and around Boston. And the Pixies made a 17-song demo for $1,000, which became the Purple Tape. The studio was Fort Apache, and the producer was Gary Smith, who had discovered the Pixies playing at a bar. He vowed to them not to rest until he had made them world famous. They were signed with 4AD Records, who at first passed on the band, finding them too normal. But Ivo Watts Russell changed his mind at the urging of his girlfriend. Thank you, girlfriend. Come On Pilgrim, a mini LP, was their first release, consisting of songs from the Purple Tapes. 2 songs were about Francis' stay in Puerto Rico, describing the poverty there. His parents were Pentecostals. That's strong magic for a young child to wade through. There were songs about sexual frustration and incest on the album. And Puerto Rico has a lot of poor people, but it's still a beautiful place. Just saying. Their debut LP was Surfer Rosa, released in '88. It earned Album of the Year in Europe. American critics were also positive, but not strongly so. The album went gold in 2005 after the album was first released. The Pixies toured supporting Throwing Muses. The Pixies made an especially positive effect in Holland. That's where my grandpa was from. No, he didn't have his finger in the dike. They signed, the Pixies that is, signed a distribution deal. My grandfather never signed a distribution deal. Pixies signed one with Elektra in North America. Gil Norton produced their follow-up, Doolittle, which was seen as a departure from the raw sounds of Come On Pilgrim and Surfer Rosa. Fans and critics both liked Doolittle. Francis threw his guitar at Kid Deal on stage in Stuttgart, Germany, which showed that not all was frolic and fairy fairs with the Pixies. Deal wanted the banjo. No, she didn't want the banjo. She wanted the band to do her songs. There's no banjo in the Pixies that I know of. Yeah, she wanted the band to do her songs, and Francis was the music man, so they stopped talking. A hiatus was announced. Deal formed the Breeders. You've heard of the Breeders. Yeah. Francis went on a solo sojourn, and Santiago and Lovering went on vacation. I don't think they went to Puerto Rico. If they had, that would have been a coincidence. In 1990, the band moved to LA without a deal. There were 2 albums, Bossa Nova and Trompe Lemonade, released between 90 and 93. And then in 93, Francis announced that the Pixies were all out of fairy dust. There was no explanation. Sometimes you run out. He renamed himself Frank Black, and he released several solo albums and some with his band Frank Black and the Catholics. Santiago played lead guitar for some of these. Deal returned to the Breeders, and he had a hit song, Cannonball, and a successful album, Last Splash, in '93. Lovering became a magician, appearing as the scientific phenomenalist, performing experiments on stage, opening shows for the Breeders and Frank Black. Lovering also drummed for Cracker. The Pixies reunited in 2004, as I said, and they released a song, Bam Thwack, on the iTunes Music Store. In 2013, Deal left. Guitarist/vocalist Kim Shattuck was Deal's replacement. Shattuck had been a member of the Muffs and the Pandoras, but she only lasted for a short while. There's a story behind that. I'll probably pick that up when I do a show about the Muffs. Back to the Pixies. Argentinian Paz Lecheton would join the Pixies on bass for their 2014 tour. The album Indie Cindy was a collection of EPs from this period with songs comparing Deal, Shattuck, and Lecheton. Sounds like a feminist beauty pageant. The mixed Pixies opened shows for Robert Plant. Sixth album, Head Carrier, went in 2016, and another in 2019 titled Beneath the Erie. I think we're talking about the Erie Canal. No, could be Lake Erie. Could be something beneath Lake Erie. I know there's something beneath Lake Superior. There's a big old salt mine beneath Lake Michigan. I am glad that Lecheton worked out. The Pixies admit that they are a two-trick pony. They say we can play loud or quiet. That's it. Francis said it. Francis claims Husker Du, Captain Beefheart, and Iggy Pop as influences. Buddy Holly and ELP were also mentioned. ELP. Wouldn't have thought that, would ya? Yes, I've been to Puerto Rico. I had a relative who moved there, and whenever I would visit the Virgin Islands, the plane would set down in Puerto Rico, and from up in an airplane or a jet, you're looking down at the island. You can't believe how big it is. It's got mountains, big mountains, a range even. And you're looking all around, and it's got beaches everywhere. I hardly see anybody out swimming in the ocean. I wondered about that, so I asked one of the people over on St. Croix, why was that? You know, they had theories. People are afraid to swim. The ocean's a little cold. Can't believe it'd be that cold that you can't swim in it, though. I mean, I could swim in the ocean in New Jersey. So, they don't swim very much. But I eventually found out that there's a hell of a riptide down in the Caribbean. And there's sharks. Yeah, of course, okay. Beautiful island. Whole lot of people living on that island. You're not going to make a fortune in Puerto Rico, I'll tell you right now. It's a paradise, but it's a paradise that a lot of people have already found. You can hang out there at your own risk. Thanks for being with me on Who Named That Band. I'll see you all soon.